Ladies and gentlemen, Mark Frohnmayer.
What a night. Holy vodka. When I was sitting around last night trying to figure out what the hell I was going to say tonight, because, often the day before is the blank mind, and it's like somehow inspiration strikes, and you're like, all right, and I'm still now waiting for that to happen, so this is mostly stalling. But I thought of a couple of things. Obviously, this has been a long journey for a lot of us to get to this point, and a lot of life happens in 10 years. And I thought a bit about just all the amazing people in my community who are here, and some of the people who aren't. When you're looking for words, who's the first guy I would call? And it was always my dad. And I promised him I'd build him a vehicle before he left the University of Oregon. That was like many years ago. That's the same kind of a promise that we made when we first put a prototype on the road that we wanted to show to the public. We said it was going to arrive in 2010. It's now 2017, which reminds me of another story, but I'll get to it. So without the ability to call him, instead I emailed our team, and I said, guys, are there any words in particular that you'd like me to share when I'm standing up here? And of course, naturally, they all wrote back saying, you a-hole, we're building the vehicle, we're setting up for the party, and now you want us to write your speech for you. No, they didn't. Nobody said that. Some of them might have thought that. But I did recall a little trick that my dad would use when he was giving a speech. He was very fond of alliteration. He had his favorite 5 L's. So I thought, well, tonight I'll bust out 5 P's. And the first one is purpose. The reason why this endeavor exists, and it's our mission statement to help catalyze the shift to a sustainable transportation system. And I remember for the first couple of years that Jesse was on full time, he's like, we can't say that. We can't. It just sounds too impossible, too big, too. It's like nobody's going to take that seriously. And when he was in India last week, and we were talking on the phone, and then he went to Dubai, and he's just like, that's what we're doing. I was like, finally. All right. But it's that purpose, ultimately, I think, that drove us through what has been a fairly challenging project from the inception to the starting line where we're at right now, was just that every time we got to another milestone, every time we put a prototype on the road and it wasn't quite it was kind of in the direction of it, but had some issues and people were like, not it. It was looking back at that mission and saying, well, has anybody else cracked this problem yet? I guess not. I guess we better move on and take the next step. Which brings me to my second P. It's people. The reason why we are able to be in this space with big, fun laser, a bunch of prototypes, some vehicles in the works, is because of all of you. Our friends, our families who've put up with, insane 4 weeks of crunch time, years of challenging financial considerations, our community here in Eugene, who have supported us over and over and over and encouraged us along the way, the thousands of people who put down their money to say, I want one of these things. Whenever you guys get around to building mine, I would like it, and I would like that to be tomorrow, please. Not everybody says please. But that you wouldn't believe how helpful it is to be able to say to somebody considering the financial participation in Arcimoto to say, no, yeah, I mean, I know we said we had 1,500 pre-orders last month, but now we have 1,700. Oh, and now we have 1,800. And now tonight, I mean, God, we're like 1,998 or something like that. And I'm hoping before the night is out, we can crack that 2K barrier. No pressure. The list goes on. I mean, why are you here? Was it because you invested early in the company and you're like, dude, I know you are so screwed, but I'm going to help you just get there faster. Or people who built, you know, met the gentleman who built our sway bars tonight, right there. To dude who walked in the shop today and said, hey, we're out in Detroit area whenever you're here. You guys have a place to stay, which reminds me of Peter and Julie, who hosted a big party for us down at their home in San Diego and came up for this event. To the thousands of people who invested in our IPO, it is all of you people who have made this possible and who are making our next step as a venture possible. Which brings me to my third P, which is place. Arcimoto is a Eugene, Oregon startup company trying to solve a worldwide problem. And what we have built is indelibly linked to this place. We started the company with a kit for the Bug-E, which was a three-wheeled, ultra-efficient, one-person vehicle designed by Mark Murphy. Previously, Nevco had designed the Gizmo and manufactured it here in Eugene. We go out to the country fair where they have alternative vehicle showcases, and all of that is in our blood. And not only that, we build stuff here. The number of people in this town who can make all kinds of amazingly cool things, whether it's the bunch of the guys on our team who came out of the coach business and you know, have been building vehicles for decades, to just the constellation of builders that have helped us put every single one of our prototypes together. That's because of where we are. And I want to give you just a little tour of Arcimoto 2, our new space in this place. So this corner, it really kind of ties the whole room together. Is the what we call affectionately the BFL. It's a big laser, and it is capable of cutting 28,000 Arcimotos worth of metal every year, and behind it will be the bender and the press brake and the robot arms and the welding cells. So the next time you come in here, it'll be really super cool. It'll be like robots and stuff. Inventory is going to go where those prototypes are. We've got loading docks right there, and then the assembly line is actually where the assembly line is going to go. It's just turned around for theatrical purposes. But this is the place where we intend to make this dream reality. This is the day that we press start on really the venture as a true production venture. And so, you know, as we look forward, yeah, it's just really freaking cool. I close my eyes and then I open them and I'm like, what? We actually get to do this thing? That's so cool. Wow. Should have written down all of my P's. What was the fourth P? Product. Oh, product! Yes, yes. So I want to take just a couple of minutes to talk about the product, because we had a prototype before, prototypes. The ones we've been driving around for the last 2 years, alpha, they were the looks like, works like versions of the product, but still very far from something we could actually reproduce. What you see in Signature Series vehicle number 0 is 2 years of basically engineering every single part on the vehicle to be producible as an actual production vehicle. And that's meant a bunch of stuff. Well, even though the battery bay has gotten about 4 inches narrower, so it's a lot easier to step over and drive, it has actually more than double the energy capacity of our previous prototypes. So we're expecting that this one will do north of 100 miles of range, which suddenly makes it useful in almost everywhere in the country. It has a folding back seat, so you can put the groceries in the back or put the dog in the back, go to Costco. There's a ton of room. If you look at the whole back area, you can see the plastic body panels, fully recyclable plastic body panels, very lightweight, lets us shave a bunch of weight off of the tail. If you look at the front, you'll see a little charge port. So one of the things that's been kind of a hassle is that everywhere we go, we carry these like extension cord charge cords with us. So what's going to happen is the base model SRK is going to have a 110 cord that just pops right out of the hood. You plug it into the wall. So if you don't have a level 2 charger and you're just parking at home and you just want to plug it in, you just boop, plug it in. This is, and the list goes on and on and on. I encourage you to go over, check it out, take a look. The team over at Cutting Edge just did a phenomenal job on the paint style of it. Although we don't actually intend to do painting of vehicles in our production version because they're all going to be thermoform decaled versions, the Signature Series are all going to be works of extraordinary art. And in terms of the ride, we've also, we've had 2 years to really just beat the crap out of the prototypes that we built. And so there are a ton of improvements that have gone into the steering geometry. We've added anti-dive to the suspension geometry. There's a electronic parking brake instead of it's just all of the giant laundry list of stuff that we came up with when we were testing the alphas. Almost every single one of those things has now been fixed for the Signature Series vehicles. And we want to make a lot more of them. So, as we look forward to production, when we first unveiled our product intent vehicle in 2011, generation number 5, that was our first introduction of the SRK. And the SRK it was actually just a 3-letter restatement of Arcimoto's core values. S stands for simple. And simple is a restatement of our value of continuous improvement. It's something we just copped wholesale from Toyota. It's this idea that if you just amalgamate the feedback of all of your people who are actually building it and engineering it and designing it, and you make a commitment as a team to continually improve, then the product that you build will continually improve. And simplicity is the direction we're trying to improve in. R stands for reasonable, and that's a restatement of our corporate value of environmental efficiency. That is the product that we're actually putting into the world, is it reasonable to do that? Is it reasonable to build these things? Is it as efficient as it can be? Is it cradle to cradle? Is it recyclable? Is it going to actually help us solve our problem? And the K is kick-ass, because our third corporate value is fun, and we know that we're not going to really solve this problem in a mass market sense unless we're having fun, unless we're building something that's incredibly fun. And so that's SRK. And SRK was about the journey. So tonight is actually the end of SRK and the beginning of the world's first fun utility vehicle. So FUV number 0 is here. And then the final P is participation. And Arcimoto is not a spectator sport. We've had, it's because of the participation of everyone in this room, and I want to particularly highlight just the phenomenal Arcimoto team. The people who have, and I include in that every single person who has worked on every single one of these vehicles over the past 10 years. Just an absolutely phenomenal group of people who have stepped in full force to make this crazy vision real. Well, the root of participation is party, so I hope you guys have a great time tonight. Thank you very much. And thank you all so much for coming. If you haven't had a chance, delicious food and beverage out back. Oh, and the wall. Talked about it at the beginning. We have an inspiration wall there, a bunch of Sharpies. This is your chance to send a message to the now and future Arcimoto team, and every vehicle that goes out that assembly line is going to go by your words. So send us a message.